you today. I'm glad you found this Vinyasa yoga practice. It's part of my Impossible People series. My name is Myra, and this practice includes a little tiny bit of Yin Yoga and my riff on the Shiva Nata sequence from Universal Yoga. The recording from this practice is from August 5th, 2025. There's also a playlist dated 06/17/2020, which I'll link in the description and right here. So grab your props and let's get started. So if you're using that June playlist, the date is 06/17/2020, go ahead and start your music. It's going to start with a little meditation. And then I'm going to suggest that you start on your back, unless you really have your heart set on starting somewhere else, in which case feel free to go where you're going. Wherever you go, you want to make sure that your legs are in a position that's comfortable for your low back and hips, and your arms are in a position that's comfortable for your neck and shoulders. Close your eyes if that's comfortable for you, and then let's set a group intention. May all of us together be protected. May all of us together be nourished. May we work together with great energy. May our study together be brilliant and effective. May we not hate or dispute with one another. May there be peace within us, peace all around us, peace to and from everything and everyone we encounter. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Deep open mouth sigh. Deep breath in through your nose. Deep sigh out. Take the deepest breath you've taken all day. Open your mouth and sigh it out. And then as you inhale through your nose and exhale through your nose, I want you to bring your awareness to your foundation. Like, first start physically. What's touching the floor, touching the mat, touching the prop, even a chair? And then we'll get into the mental, emotional, energetic, even the spiritual or religious foundations. Every time we inhale, every time we exhale. I like to think about the beginning of the yoga philosophy. Kind of the cornerstone of the philosophy are those ethical components, the yamas, the external restraints or universal commandments, and the niyamas, the internal observations. Those are the foundations of the philosophy. Those are the outward-facing elements of the cornerstone. But then we have the cornerstone of our physical practice, right? The outward-facing part of that cornerstone, or the third and fourth limbs of the yoga philosophy. The asana, which is the seat, the pose, and then the pranayama, the awareness of breath, the extension of breath. Every time you inhale, every time you exhale, those are the two parts of the cornerstone that are outward-facing, and what everything else is built around. And today we're just going to go a little deeper into those cornerstones. On your next inhale, begin your Ujjayi pranayama, breath of victory. Bring a slight constriction to the back of your throat as you inhale through your nose, maintaining that constriction as you exhale through your nose, creating an audible and expansive breath, an oceanic and heat-building breath, a detoxifying breath, a breath that brings your awareness to the cornerstones in your life every time you inhale, every time you exhale. Every edifice, every physical structure has a cornerstone. As I mentioned before, that cornerstone is the reference point for everything that's built. In other words, it makes the building possible. And what's true about a physical structure is also true about everything else. Everything else we build, including friendships, community, and nations. The cornerstones and the foundations of all of those things make them possible every time we inhale, every time we exhale. And so today I'm going to talk about some possible cornerstones and some cornerstones that seemed impossible. As we move through this practice, I'll be offering prenatal variations as well as modifications if you want to skip the arm balancing. And remember that child's pose, balasana, is your modification for every pose. You can go there at any time. Take a deep breath in. Take a deeper breath out. And join the sequence when you're ready. Next time you inhale, take a full body stretch. Reach through your fingers, reach through your toes. If you're not on your back or seated, move around where you are. Everyone else, as you exhale, bend your knees so your feet are flat on the floor. Prenatal variation is to keep your feet on the floor, drop your knees over to one side and then the other side. Everyone else, you can bring your knees into your chest, circle your knees around in a circle in one direction, and then the other direction. If you're not on your back or seated, mix your movement up a little bit. If your feet are on the floor, you can get into your hip flexors by opening your knees wide as you exhale, bring them back together as you inhale. If your knees are in your chest, you can get into your hip flexors by separating your knees, rotating them in circles towards each other, and then away from each other. And then we're going to move into a comfortable seated position. Prenatal variation, if you're on your back, is to roll to the left to sit up. Everyone else, you can roll over or bring your hands to your bottom, slide your fingers up to the creases in your knees, and just like a child on a swing, rock up and back 5 or 6 times. Angle your body so you tap each corner of the mat at least once with both feet. And then after that 5th or 6th rock, come up to a comfortable seated position, half lotus, full lotus, or no lotus. If there's compression in your low back and hips, sit up on top of something. If you have any pain or discomfort in your low back and hips, you can come into a kneeling pose like hero's pose, knees together, feet apart, sitting on the floor or prop between your ankles, or thunderbolt, knees and feet the same distance apart, toes curled under, sitting on your heels or a prop between your heels, or then an auspicious pose, feet together behind you, knees apart, sitting on your soles or a prop between your soles. Either way, hands together at heart center or one hand at your heart, one hand at your belly. Close your eyes if that's comfortable for you, and bring your awareness to how you spend your time or how you want to spend your time. What's your goal, your desire, your reason for being on the mat today? What are you building in your life? Physically, mentally, emotionally, energetically, maybe even spiritually or religiously. And then take a moment to bring your awareness maybe to someone who's helping you build things, or maybe one of your master teachers, one of your precious jewels, one of those naysayers who says something is impossible. One of those, you can bring your awareness to someone you describe as a friend, or maybe someone who's better described as a frenemy. You can even bring your awareness to someone in your sangha, someone in your community, or someone you've never met, someone you will never meet. But either way, offer up your efforts as a loving and compassionate dedication so that we all have the building blocks for friendship. Let's unify the breath. Exhale all your air out. Take the deepest breath you've taken all day. Open your mouth and sigh it out. And then resume your ujjayi. Breathe in through your nose with that slight constriction at the back of your throat. Exhale through your nose. Fill up as you inhale. Empty out completely as you exhale. Next time you inhale, blink your eyes open. As you exhale, relax your arms down. You can stretch out your legs, wiggle your toes, rotate your ankles. And then we're going to have a little yin yoga moment. So come into butterfly pose. Feet together like a prayer, knees open up like the pages of a book. Slide your heels away a little bit from your hips so that you have that baseball diamond shape with your legs. If you're slumping down or if your knees are up higher than your hips, sit up on top of something. You can also put props underneath your thighs. Either way, take a moment to scan your back body. Notice how your joints feel. And then pick a sensation. Pick a little bit of information. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, lean forward just a little bit, hinging at your hips until you feel some new sensation, some new bit of information. And then prop yourself up there. Maybe you put a prop across your thigh, let your upper body rest on that. Or you can rest your elbows on your thighs or your forearms on your shins, or put props in front of your shins and let your arms rest there. Either way, take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, let your body relax, release, and rest. And then just take a moment to be here. Take a moment to breathe here. Filling up as you inhale, emptying out as you exhale. I keep mentioning friendship. It's going to keep coming up during this practice. It's highly regarded in the Eastern philosophies. For instance, I have heard the Buddha describe Sangha, community, as one of the 3 jewels. In other words, it's the foundation. It's one of the foundational principles of Buddhism. It's an outward-facing part of the cornerstone, something of great value. In Yoga and Samkhya, 2 of the 6 Indian philosophies, the ability to cultivate a good heart, i.e. make friends, is also considered a value. It's so valuable, it's considered one of the 6 powers described as being unique to being human. Take a moment to make sure you're not holding yourself up here, right? Not using your musculature. You want the muscle in the skin to melt away from the bones. And then you want to breathe deeply into the bones every time you inhale, every time you exhale. An underlying element to any discussion of friendship is how a friendship is possible. How much easier it is, for instance, to cultivate a friendship when the people involved are in close proximity, when they share similar backgrounds and have similar expectations. It's not that it's impossible to make a friend otherwise, but it's just a little easier. Take, for instance, Herman Melville and Nathaniel Hawthorne. I mentioned Herman Melville just a few days ago because it was the anniversary of his birth just 3 days ago, right at the beginning of August. But today, in 1850, he met Nathaniel Hawthorne. And they became great friends. They lived in close proximity with each other for about 2.5 years. And during those 2.5 years, it was the most prolific period for both of them as writers. They wrote and published their most well-known books. They were part of a small group planning a picnic on the top of Monument Mountain in the Berkshires when a thunderstorm sent the group rushing into a cave for shelter. And the two writers had time to talk about their love of literature, their love of the sea. Perhaps they also had time to discuss the fact that they both lost their fathers at a young age. Mr. Hawthorne's father died when the author was 4 years old. Mr. Melville's father died when the author was 13 years old, although the latter felt his father's emotional absence long before his father's death. Maybe they even discussed their decision to change the spelling of their surname, although I doubt that actually came up. Take one more inhale, one more exhale, and then push through your arms as you inhale to lift your heart up. As you exhale, you can use your arms to bring your knees together. You could lean back on your hands or your forearms or all the way down to your back and just gently, mindfully windshield wiper your legs. There's quite an age gap between the two men, but they still had so much in common. They had what I would consider the possibility, those fundamental foundational elements that made friendship possible. And then they had proximity. Listen, you're going to sit back up, come into a comfortable seated position, maybe change the cross of your legs if you started off cross-legged. We're going to go into my riff on the Universal Yoga Shiva Nata. So take a moment, bring your hands together at heart center, shoulders down your back. We're going to start with the first form. So take a deep breath in, deep breath out. And the next time you inhale, keep your right elbow bent and just pivot the right arm out to the side, right palm up. Stretch your left arm up in the air, left palm facing forward. So you have options here. You can keep the fingers the same on both hands, or you can spread your right fingers wide like you're holding a drum. Left fingers come into that moon mudra, fingers squeezed together with the left thumb extended. Or you can make it like you're the mirror image of the Statue of Liberty. Just change the angle of your right arm so it's more of an acute angle, like you're holding up the tablet, and then left arm wraps around your invisible torch. Take one more inhale, and then exhale, bring your hands back together at heart center. Balancing out as you inhale, left arm comes out to the side with the left elbow bent. Right arm reaches up in the air with the right palm facing forward. Again, fingers can be the same on both hands. You can play with your brain, spread the left fingers wide, squeeze the right fingers together with the right thumb extended out, or left arm in that acute angle holding the tablet, right arm wraps around your invisible torch. Take one more inhale, and then exhale, hands together at heart center. One breath, one motion. Inhale, right arm out with the elbow bent, left arm up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, left arm out, elbow bent, right arm up, right arm straight. Exhale, hands to heart center. Do that one more time on each side. Inhale, right arm out, left arm up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, left arm out, right arm up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, both arms up. As you exhale, you can either bring your hands to your knees and curl up like a cat, or you can fold forward. Either way, inhale, seated cow, lifting your heart up, maybe lifting your arms up. Exhale, seated cat or forward fold. So again, Herman Melville and Nathaniel Hawthorne's friendship was possible. There's a lot of elements that made it possible. But what about if they'd lived on the opposite sides of the Atlantic, like long before the internet? What if they spoke different languages and had different cultural experience? Then the probability would have been a little less likely. It's possible, but it's possible they could have appreciated each other's work. It's even possible that they could have offered the other a symbolic token of friendship, as Herman Melville did when he dedicated Moby Dick or the Whale, and I quote, "In token of my admiration for his genius, this book is inscribed to Nathaniel Hawthorne. While not as probable, it wouldn't have been impossible, especially when you consider that an even grander symbolic token of friendship traveled across the ocean about 35 years after the authors met. That token of friendship was the Statue of Liberty. But here's the thing, that transatlantic friendship between the United States and France had to overcome what seemed like an impossible obstacle, putting up the pedestal for Lady Liberty. Next time you inhale, lift your heart up. Exhale, hug your knees into your armpits, give a little squeeze. The pedestal was set today in 1884 on a very rainy Bedloe Island. Listen, if you're skipping the arm balancing, you can come back into your seated position, take another round of cat-cow. Everyone else, come to your hands and knees or forearms and knees. If you're on your forearms, cross your arms. Make sure you can grab opposite bicep with opposite hand, no matter which arm is in front, and then bring the wrist out in front. Tabletops, you want to stack shoulders over elbows, elbows over wrists, or wrists in front of the elbows, hips over your knees. As you exhale, gaze between your knees. Make sure your ankles are active, big toes parallel to each other. And then inhale to cow pose. Lift your heart, lift your hips, belly drops down. As you exhale, you can round your spine like a Halloween cat or sink your hips to your heels for puppy dog. Again, same thing in the seated position. Follow your body's natural tendencies, extending as you inhale, flexing, maybe folding as you exhale. Move through one more full cycle of breath. And then next time you inhale, lift your heart up. As you exhale, you can sink your hips to your heels in a puppy dog with the toes curled under, knees and feet the same distance apart. Or you can take child's pose, feet together like a prayer, knees open up like the pages of a book, hips to your heels, forehead and nose touch the mat. If you have a lot of tension in your knees, you can put a rolled up towel or blanket between your shins and your thighs and your shins, or you can sit on top of a prop. You can even put a little cushion under your ankles. Prenatal variation of the child's pose or puppy dog doesn't work for you is to take a seated forward fold. Everyone else, you have the option to lie down flat on your belly. Either way, stretch through your arms as you inhale. And then as you exhale, bend your elbows so the palms come together back behind you. And that inverted namaskar, press your elbows down, press your shoulders down, press your palms together. If you have a lot of upper body kyphosis, if you've been hunched over a computer or a desk all day, or maybe you're developing a dowager's hunch, you can always elevate your elbows in this position. But just take a moment to be here. Take a moment to breathe here. The Statue of Liberty was meant to be a testament to freedom, friendship, and the spirit of the people in both countries. In France, people provided the funds for the statue. Take one more inhale, just like this. One more exhale, just like this. And then next time you inhale, stretch out your arms, exhale, palms down. Prenatal variation is going to be cow pose, sphinx with a little cushion under your hips and thighs, tadasana, your knees or sit bones, or high plank. Everyone else, as you inhale, drag your body forward, lift your heart up dog, cobra, cow, tadasana, high plank or sphinx, and hold and breathe. Shoulders down your back. So, as I said before, the people in France provided the funds for the statue designed by the sculptor Frederic Auguste Boutalde with scaffolding created by Gustave Eiffel, while people in the United States were meant to pay for the base and pedestal designed by Richard Morris Hunt. Take one more inhale, just like this. One more exhale, just like this. And then next time you exhale, you can press back to tabletop with hands and knees to the mat or forearms and knees to the mat. Again, if you're on your forearms, cross your arms. Make sure you can grab opposite bicep with opposite hand, no matter which arm is in front, and then bring the wrist out in front. Tabletops, again, you want shoulders over elbows, elbows over wrists, or wrists in front of the elbows, hips over your knees. Again, as you exhale, gaze between your knees. Make sure your ankles are active, big toes parallel to each other. Inhale to cow pose or half lift. Exhale, downward facing dog. Dolphin dog if you're on your forearms, or come into your standing half lift or forward fold if you're skipping the arm balance. Downward facing dogs. This is your first Adho Mukha Svanasana. So take a moment to check your asana, check your seat. For this pose, it's your hands and feet. Take a moment to make sure your fingers are spread wide, middle fingers point forward, joints in the thumb and first finger, pressed in the mat. As you relax your head and shoulders, take a moment to make sure your big toes are parallel to each other, big toes behind your thumbs or behind your middle fingers. Dolphin dogs, you want big toes behind your elbows. Even in a standing half lift or forward fold, you can separate your legs for stability. Either way, press your spine to your thighs, thigh bones to the wall behind you, hips high, heels low. As you exhale, bend your knees a little bit. Inhale, find a little bit of cow pose, just a little extra extension through your spine with your head hanging down. As you exhale, downward facing dogs, rotate the pointy part of your elbows towards your big toes and a little closer to your nose. Take a moment to scan your body. Maybe express a little gratitude for the sensation, the information that informs your practice. And then with awareness as well as with gratitude, start to move. You can bend your knees one at a time or at the same time. Lift one leg high and then the other, or lift up an arm. You could add a twist. You could come back to your knees, but whatever you do on one side, do something similar or complementary on the other side. Move through one more full cycle of breath. And then on your next exhale, find stillness. Once you've balanced out, find stillness. As you inhale, nod your head yes to bring your awareness to the cornerstones in your life. Every time you inhale, every time you exhale. As you exhale, shake your head no to forgetting that people really pay attention to the outward facing elements and not so much the inner facing elements. And as you inhale, nod your head yes to the joy of building around the cornerstone of freedom and friendship. Every time you inhale, every time you exhale. Next time you inhale, lift your gaze, lift your hips by coming up to your tippy toes. Exhale, bend your knees, step or float your feet to the outside of your hands. Come into a yogi prayer squat down low or a horse goddess pose up high. Either way, toes down and out, heels down and in. Press your palms together, spread your fingers wide. In the same way, press your feet down, spread your toes wide. Elbows and knees out to the side. As you inhale, lift your pubic bone and your heart up. Exhale, shoulders and sit bones down. Deep breath in, press down like you're going to stand up. Deep breath out. So it's a great plan, right? France, people in France paid for the statue. America, people in America paid for the base and the pedestal that was designed by Richard Morris Hunt. The problem was that the Americans were short, about $100,000 short. Take one more inhale. As you exhale, fold forward. Toes point straight ahead, heels straight back. As you inhale, look up and lengthen. Exhale, hands on your thighs or bend your elbows and knees and put your elbows on your thighs. Either way, as you inhale, shrug your shoulders up to your ears. Exhale, press your shoulders to your hips. Even if you have to bend your knees here, as you inhale, find a little bit of cow pose so your heart's forward, gaze is forward. As you exhale, zip up. What I mean by that is spread your toes, squeeze your perineum muscles together, belly button up and back, or close that funky zipper that runs down your sacrum through your pelvic floor up to your belly button. Take one more inhale, just like this. One more exhale, just like this. So we're going to do a little flossing here, and you have some options. You could bring your hands down in front of you, holding onto the edge of your mat or to a prop. As you exhale, you can bend both knees and then extend both knees. Or you could start with both legs extended as you inhale, and then exhale, bend one knee, extend that leg, exhale, bend the other knee, and then inhale, extend. Everyone else, you have the option as you exhale to turn your toes out, inhale into your squat, yogi prayer squat down low or horse goddess pose up high, and then exhale, fold forward. Inhale into your squat, exhale, fold forward. Do that 3 more times. And then everyone inhale to your half lift, flat back. This time, as you exhale, you're going to stay here if you have low back issues, unregulated blood pressure, or eye issues like glaucoma. Stay here if this feels good, or you have arthritis in your low back and or your hips. Everyone else, as you exhale, flex and fold. Take any variation of Uttanasana that you like. You can take ragdoll, grabbing opposite bicep with opposite hand. You can take chest expansion, interlacing your hands behind your back, or wrap your arms around your legs. Classic Uttanasana is to press your hands on the floor or prop. Extend through your spine as you also extend through your legs. And let something go. Let something roll off your back. Richard Morris Hunt's design for the pedestal and base incorporated the 11-point star foundation of the Army Fort Wood, which had been built in 1807 and abandoned during the Civil War. He always intended his design to be simple, so it didn't take away from the statue itself. But raising money for his design turned out to be so challenging that he scrapped 25 feet from the height of his original design. He also cut back on material so that instead of the pedestal and base being constructed entirely out of granite, he had to make do with concrete walls covered with a granite block face. Listen, next time you exhale, release your thigh. If your back is healthy, you could bend your knees, roll up one vertebrae at a time. If you're having some back issues, inhale to your half lift. Exhale, hands to your hips, core engages, pressing down as you inhale. Lift your whole body up. If you're rolling up, shoulders come up before your neck, neck before your head. Once you're upright, use as much or as little of the arms as you like. Inhale, shrug your shoulders up to your ears. Exhale, roll the shoulders down and back. Do that one more time to get into the front of the heart. And then get into the back of the heart. Inhale, shoulders up. Exhale, roll the shoulders down and forward. 2 more times. And then next time you inhale, shrug the shoulders up. Exhale, roll the shoulders down and back. Take a moment. If you need a side out to side out, if you need a focal point, give yourself a focal point. If you feel a little wobbly, have a seat. If you want to wobble, feel free to wobble. And then when you're ready, as you inhale, stretch your arms out and up. Exhale, hands come together through heart center. Take a deep breath in. Same movement creates more space for your heart in the world. Exhale, get grounded, get centered in this heart space. This time as you inhale, lift up, reach up. If you're not already there, as you exhale, walk, roll, boot, scoot, boogie, or give yourself a twirl to the front of the mat, and then twirl around in the other direction. If you're already at the front of the mat, twirl around in each direction. And then at the front of the mat, facing the front of the mat, take a deep breath in. Remember your intention. Deep breath out. Remember your dedication. And the next time you inhale, stretch your arms out and up. Exhale, swan dive. Take your whole breath. Bring your heart to your thighs. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, right leg steps back, low lunge. Take a deep breath in to extend. Exhale, left hip back, shoulders relax. Squeeze your thighs together as you inhale for that external stability. As you exhale, zip up, engage your core for that internal stability. Spread your toes, squeeze your perineum muscles together, belly button up and back, or close that funky zipper that runs down your sacrum through your pelvic floor up to your belly button. Let the weight come out of your fingertips. Let a little heaviness come out of your heart, and then you breathe into your heart. Take one more inhale. Listen, as you exhale, plant your hands, step into your standing forward fold. You can either inhale to your half lift or to your squat. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, reverse swan dive, arms lift, heart lifts. Exhale, hands through heart center at the front of the mat. Take a deep breath in, stretch up. Exhale, swan dive. Take your whole breath, bring your heart to your thighs. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, left leg steps back, low lunge. Take a deep breath in to extend. Exhale, right hip back, shoulders relax. Squeeze your thighs together as you inhale. As you exhale, zip up, engage your core. Again, let the weight come out of your fingertips. Let a little heaviness come out of your heart. And then you breathe into your heart. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Take one more full cycle of breath. And then next time you exhale, plant your hands. You can step back to downward facing dog or puppy dog. Or if you want to completely skip the arm balancing, step forward into your standing forward fold or half lift or even a squat. Inhale, high plank, cow pose or half lift. Exhale, puppy dog, lower all the way down or fold forward. Inhale, up dog, cobra, cow, tadasana, high plank or sphinx, and hold and breathe. Richard Morris's cost-cutting measures still might not have been enough for the pedestal if a certain newspaper man hadn't decided to tap into the spirit of the people and in doing so overcome what some viewed as an impossible obstacle. That newspaper man was Joseph Pulitzer. And on March 16, 1885, he implored people in the United States to give what they could, even if it was a penny, in order to pay for the base and pedestal of the Statue of Liberty. Starting with an ad and a series of front page editorials, he was able to crowdfund over $100,000 in about 5 months. Again, remember, this was long before the internet, long before transatlantic phone calls. Next time you exhale, you can press back to tabletop, lower all the way down, or come into your standing half lift or forward fold. Inhale, high plank, cow pose or half lift. Exhale, downward facing dog, dolphin dog, or come into your standing half lift or forward fold. Eyes on your nose, your belly button, or the space between your toes. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Look around today, we can see that the Statue of Liberty, Lady Liberty, still has some work to do to bring us all together as people were brought together in the 1880s. As you inhale, stretch back. Exhale, walk your hands to your feet or bring your hands and feet together. Once your heels are on the mat, inhale to your half lift, flat back. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, reverse swan dive, arms lift, heart lifts. Exhale, walk, roll, boot scoot, boogie, or give us a twirl to the front of the mat, and then twirl around in the other direction. And then once you're at the front of the mat, facing the front of the mat, we're going to do that Shiva Nata again, but this time we're going to do form 1 and 2. It starts the same. Palms together at heart center. Take a deep breath in, deep breath out. And then inhale, right arm out, left arm up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, left arm out, elbow bent, right arm out with the right arm extended. Exhale, hands to heart center. One more time. Inhale, right arm out, left arm up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, left arm out, right arm up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Second form starts the same. Inhale, right arm out, left arm up. Exhale, right hand stops, left hand points. So the left elbow is bent and the left index finger points towards the right side of your mat. And so here's the trick to remember. Once the hands are in front on the exhale, the elbows stay the same. You just pivot from the shoulders. So inhale, left arm out, right arm up. Now you change everything. Exhale, left hand stops, right hand points. So the right elbow is bent with the right index finger pointed to the left side of your mat. Left hand is in that stop the ignorance mudra. Inhale, right arm out, left arm up. Exhale, right hand stops, left hand points. Inhale, left arm out, right arm up. Exhale, left hand stops, right hand points. First form, inhale, right arm out, left arm up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, left arm out, right arm up. Exhale, hands to heart center. This time, both arms up as you inhale. Exhale, swan dive. Take your whole breath. Bring your heart to your thighs. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, left leg steps back, low lunge. Take a deep breath in to extend. Prenatal variation is runner's lunge. Left knee down, right foot up and out at a 45-degree angle for make room for baby and belly. Everyone else, you have your option. You can take the runner's lunge with a twist, or you can take that modified revolving crescent. Either way, inhale, right hand to your right thigh. As you exhale, rotate your heart to the right, shoulders down your back. You can keep your right hand on your thigh, pressing down into the right hand with the same awareness you're pressing down to the left hand. Or as you inhale, lift your right arm up, reaching up with the same awareness that you're reaching down. Take one more inhale, just like this. One more exhale, just like this. And the next time you exhale, right hand comes down. Inhale to your low lunge, so lift the back thigh high if you haven't already done so. Exhale, left foot comes up to meet the right, folding forward. Either inhale into your squat or your half lift. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, reverse swan dive, arms lift, heart lifts. Exhale, hands come through heart center, the front of the mat. Take a deep breath in, stretch up. Exhale, swan dive, take your whole breath, bring your heart to your thighs. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, right leg steps back, low lunge. Take a deep breath in to extend. Prenatal variation as you exhale is to bring your right knee down, left foot up and out at a 45-degree angle. Remember, everyone else, you can take that runner's lunge or keep your low lunge. Either way, inhale, left hand to your left thigh. As you exhale, rotate your heart to the left. Then keep your left hand on your thigh, pressing down with the same awareness you're reaching down through the right arm. Or as you inhale, lift your left arm up, reaching up with the same awareness you're reaching down. I mean, take a moment to consider, right, that impossible, what seemed like an impossible obstacle to overcome the cost. And yet they did it by coming together. Remember, practicing a little yoga, if you will. Remember, yoga, that Sanskrit word means to unite, to yoke. When a community comes together, that can be yoga. Reaching a previously unattainable goal can also be yoga. Next time you exhale, hands to the mat. Inhale, low lunge if you're not already there. Exhale, downward facing dog, puppy dog, or come into your standing forward fold. Inhale, high plank, cow pose, or half lift. Exhale, chaturanga, puppy dog, lower all the way down or fold forward. Inhale, lift your heart up dog, cobra, cow, tadasana, high plank or sphinx. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take the extra push-up or fold forward. Eyes on your nose, your belly button or the space between your toes. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Take one more inhale, just like this. One more exhale, just like this. And then downward facing dogs and dolphin dogs, you always have the option to stretch back, walk back, meet us in the lunge. You can even bring your knees down like we do sometimes and step forward. Everyone else, as you inhale, get stability on your left side. As you exhale, bend your right knee, right heel to the hip. Inhale, lift your heel, lift your gaze. Three-legged dogs and table, step your right foot forward. Half lift, step your left leg back. Hold here as the prenatal option. Everyone else, inhale your right arm high for a little baby twist. And then everyone exhale, hands to the mat. Rotate your left heel down so you have heel to arch alignment. And then inhale, blossom up and open into your warrior two. So right toes are your front toes. Right heel lines up with the middle of your left foot. Left foot parallel to the short edge of your mat or slightly turned forward. Put weight in your left foot. Left kneecap is lifted. Left thigh is firm. As you exhale, stretch your right knee forward. Shoulders down your back. And then listen, keeping your right knee bent. As you inhale, extend and expand. Exhale, reach your right arm forward until you find your limit. And then bring your right elbow to your thigh or inside or outside of your right leg. Left arm reaches up or over. Make sure your weight's still balanced between both feet, both legs, both hips. Engage your core, zip up. So spread your toes, squeeze your perineum muscles together, belly button up and back, or close that funky zipper. And then as you inhale, extend your spine, pressing the left side of your ribcage towards your right arm and rotate your heart up, shoulders down your back. Take a deep breath in, just like this. And then as you exhale, start to rotate your left arm around. So you have half the circle on the inhale, half the circle on the exhale. It doesn't matter which way you're going because we're going to flip it around in a moment. And this is that moment. So find a moment of stillness as you exhale, take a deep breath in, and then as you exhale, start to take your arms around in the other direction, your left arm around in the other direction. Take one more inhale and one more exhale. And then next time you inhale, as you lift your left arm up, straighten your right leg. So you come into triangle pose with the right arm reaching down, or you can take reverse triangle or upward facing triangle, right arm up, left arm down. Either way, your heart's facing the long left edge of your mat. As you exhale, rotate your sit bones down, squeeze your thighs together as you inhale for that external stability. As you exhale, zip up, engage your core for that internal stability, and then inhale, extend your spine. Pressing the left side of your ribcage towards your right arm and rotate your heart up. Bring your lifted arm over your nose and pull your elbows away from each other. Pressure right heel and hip away from each other. Take one more inhale. One more exhale. And then next time you exhale, bend your right knee, come back into your side angle pose, and then keep your legs where they are. Inhale, reverse warrior, right arm up, left arm back. As you exhale, bring your left hand to your left hip, pressing that left hip down. Inhale, reach through the right side of your body. And as you exhale, press your right knee forward, shoulders down your back. You can take a half bind here, bring your left hand behind your back, reaching for your right hip and thigh, or you can bring your left arm in front of your belly, left palm up if you want a little blessing, if you're asking for a donation, or left palm out, or friendship even, or left palm out if you want to stop the ignorance. Take one more inhale, pulling the arms away from each other. One more exhale, sinking a little deeper into your lunge. Talked about people coming together in the 1880s. I realized everybody wasn't all on the same page, but the fundraiser that was started by Joseph Pulitzer brought people from different backgrounds together. Next time you exhale, come into warrior two, hands at your hips. As you inhale, straighten your right leg. Exhale, turn your toes to the side. Move your hips around in a circle or a figure eight in one direction, and then the other direction. And then as you inhale, stretch your arms out, maybe come up to your tippy toes. As you exhale, bend your knees, step or float, hands and feet together. And then step to the front of the mat and turn to the front of the mat. As you inhale, stretch your arms out and up. Exhale, swan dive. Take your whole breath. Bring your heart to your thighs. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, right leg steps back, low lunge. Take a deep breath in to extend. Exhale, downward facing dog, puppy dog, or come into your standing forward fold. Inhale, high plank, cow pose, or half lift. Exhale, chaturanga, puppy dog, lower all the way down or fold forward. Inhale, lift your heart up dog, cobra, cow, tadasana, high plank, or sphinx. Exhale, downward facing dog, take the extra push up or fold forward. As you inhale, get stability on your right side. As you exhale, bend your left knee, left heel to the hip. Inhale, lift your heel, lift your gaze. Three-legged dogs and table step your left foot forward. Half lift, step your right leg back. Prenatal variation is to stay here for an extra breath. Everyone else, inhale your left arm high into the twist, and then exhale, bring your left hand down. Everyone, rotate your right heel down. Find heel to arch alignment. And then as you inhale, blossom up and open, Virabhadrasana 2. So this time, left toes are your front toes, left heel lines up with the middle of your right foot. Right foot parallel to the short edge of your mat or slightly turned forward. The weight in your right foot, right kneecap is lifted, right thigh is firm. As you exhale, stretch your left knee forward, shoulders down your back. And then as you inhale, keep your legs where they are. Extend and expand. As you exhale, reach your left arm forward until you find your limit. And then inhale your left elbow down to your thigh or inside or outside of your left leg. Right arm reaches up or over. Make sure your weight is still balanced between both feet, both legs, both hips. Make sure your core is engaged. And then as you inhale, extend your spine, pressing the right side of your cage towards your left arm. In your Parasvakonasana, as you exhale, start to circle your right arm around. Again, it doesn't matter which direction you start because we're going to go in the other direction. Joseph Pulitzer's paper was The New York World. And in 1885, he wrote an editorial where he said, we must raise the money. The world is the people's paper, and now it appeals to the people to come forward and raise the money. The $250,000 the making of the statue cost was paid in by the masses of the French people, by the working men, the tradesmen, the shop girls, the artisans, by all, irrespective of class or condition. Let us respond in like manner. Take a moment to find stillness as you exhale, and then as you take a deep breath in, stretch through your right arm, and then as you exhale, take your circle in the other direction. Half the circle on the inhale, half the circle on the exhale. Mr. Pulitzer went on to say, let us not wait for the millionaires to give us this money. It's not a gift from the millionaires of France to the millionaires of America, but a gift to the whole people of France, to the whole people of America. Take this appeal to yourself personally. It is meant to every reader of the world. Give something, however little. Send it to us. We will receive it and see that it is properly applied. Move through one more full circle. And the next time you inhale your right arm up, straighten your left leg into your Trikonasana, or for Urdhva Trikonasana, lift your left arm up, right arm down with your heart still open to the long right side of your mat. Either way, as you exhale, rotate your sit bones down. Squeeze your thighs together as you inhale for that external stability. As you exhale, zip up, engage your core. Inhale, extend your spine, press through the right side of your cage towards your left arm, and rotate your heart up. Shoulders down your back. See if you can bring your lifted arm over your nose and pull the elbows away from each other. Press your left heel and hip away from each other. Joseph Pulitzer offered people a 6-inch metal replica of Lady Liberty, described as a perfect facsimile, if they donated $1 to the pedestal fund established by Mr. Pulitzer's paper, and a 12-inch replica if they donated $5. As you exhale, bend your left knee, come back into your Parasvakonasana, left elbow on your thigh or inside or outside of your left leg, right arm reaches up or over. Keep your legs where they are and inhale to reverse warrior. Left arm up, right arm back. As you exhale, bring your right hand to your right hip. Inhale, lift your ribs up as you press your right hip down. Exhale, press your left knee away from your arms. You can keep your right hand where it is, bring it behind your back for half bind, or bring your arm in front of your belly, palm up if you want a donation or if you want a gift of friendship, or you can take your palm out if you want that stop the ignorance movement. Either way, pull the arms away from each other as you inhale. Exhale, left knee presses forward as that right heel presses back. Take one more inhale. Exhale, Virabhadrasana 2 with hands at your hips. As you inhale, straighten your left leg. Exhale, turn your toes to the side. Move your hips around in a circle or figure eight in one direction and then the other direction. And I get it that $5 or $1 might not seem like a lot today, but keep in mind that this was after the financial panic of 1873, which created a depression in the United States and Europe. Also, interest seemed to be in short supply since the United States was still trying to recover from the Civil War, which left many Americans desiring heroic public art rather than allegoric public art. But Joseph Pulitzer had a way with words, and there were a group of people, specifically immigrants, who were inspired to donate specifically because of the symbolism of the statue. As you inhale, stretch your arms out, maybe come up to your tippy toes. As you exhale, bend your knees, step or float, hands and feet together, and then step to the front of the mat and turn to the front of the mat. Or you can step off the mat because we're going to do a little bit of balance here. If you need a little extra support for the balance, you can face a wall or a tall bookshelf, walk towards it until you feel yourself sitting up a little taller, standing up a little taller. And then as you inhale, everyone stretch your arms out and up. Exhale, hands come through, heart center down to your hips. As you inhale, step or shift your weight to your left foot. As you exhale, bring your right knee up, right hip, knee, and ankle as close to 90 degrees as possible for that one-legged mountain pose. Make sure your core is engaged, your sacrum is long, so the back side is long. And then from your hip flexors, rotate that right knee out to the side. So don't pivot the knee out to the side. Just find that angle where the right heel is reaching towards your left shin or your left knee. Shoulders down your back. This is imitating a different, we're getting ready to imitate a different statue here. And then exhale, right foot down. As you inhale, stretch your arms out and up. Exhale, hands come through, heart center down to your hips. As you inhale, step or shift your weight into your right foot. Exhale, bring your left knee up, left hip, knee, and ankle is close to 90 degrees for that Ekapada Tadasana. Make sure your core is engaged, pelvic floor is lifted up. And then from your hips, externally rotate your left hip and thigh so the left knee points away from the body, left heel reaches for your right shin. Again, don't turn the left knee out to the side by moving the whole leg. Just find that external rotation, almost like you're going to go into a butterfly pose on the left side. Take one more inhale, one more exhale. And then as you inhale, bring that left knee back to center. Exhale, release it down. And then as you inhale, stretch your arms out and up. Exhale, hands come to heart center. So now we're going to do form 1, 2, and 3. Starting off the same. Form 1, as you inhale, right arm out, left arm up. Remember the right elbow is bent, left arm extends. Exhale, hands heart center. Inhale, left arm out, right arm up. Remember left elbow is bent. Exhale, hands heart center. One more time. First form, right arm out, left arm up. Exhale, hands heart center. Inhale, left arm out, right arm up. Exhale, hands heart center. Second form starts the same. Inhale, right arm out, left arm up. Exhale, right hand stops, left hand points. Inhale, left arm out, right arm up. Exhale, left hand stops, right hand points. One more time. Inhale, right arm out, left arm up. Exhale, right hand stops, left hand points. Inhale, left arm out, right arm up. Exhale, left hand stops, right hand points. Third form starts the same. Inhale, right arm out, left arm up. Exhale, right hand stops, left hand points, and then lift your right leg up in that external rotated with that external rotation. So your left index finger points at your right leg or your right foot. And then both feet on the ground. Inhale, left arm out, right arm up. Exhale, left hand stops, right hand points as you lift your left leg up. Right index finger points at your left leg with that external rotation. One breath, one motion. Inhale, right arm out, left arm up. Exhale, right hand stops, left hand points as you lift your right leg up. Inhale, left arm out, right arm up. Exhale, left hand stop, right hand points at your left leg when you lift it up. One more time. Inhale, right arm out, left arm up. Exhale, right hand stops, left hand points at your right leg, lifting up. Inhale, left arm out, right arm up. Exhale, left hand stops, right hand points at your left leg, lifting up. First form, right arm out, left arm up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, left arm out, right arm up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, both arms up. As you exhale, walk, roll, boot, scoot, boogie, or give yourself a twirl back at the front of your mat. And then once you're at the front of the mat, facing the front of the mat, take a deep breath in, stretch your arms out and up. Exhale, swan dive, take your whole breath, bring your heart to your thighs. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, left leg steps back, low lunge. Take a deep breath in to extend. Exhale, downward facing dog, puppy dog, or come into your standing forward fold. Inhale, high plank, cow pose, or half lift. Exhale, chaturanga, puppy dog, lower all the way down or fold forward. Inhale, up dog, cobra, cow, tadasana, high plank, or sphinx. Exhale, downward facing dog, take the extra push-up or fold forward. Eyes on your nose, your belly button, or the space between your toes. Take a deep breath in, deep breath out. Ultimately, over 125,000 people donated to the Pedestal Fund, most donating $1 or less. They not only donated to receive the replicas, they donated via auctions, lotteries, and boxing matches. They donated by depriving themselves of things they needed or things they wanted. Some kids donated by pooling their circus and candy money. Some adults donated what they would normally spend on drinks. And at the end of the fundraiser, Joseph Pulitzer printed every donor's name in the New York World, regardless of how little or how much they donated. As you inhale, if you want a big back bend other than bridge or wheel pose, do what you do. Everyone else, as you inhale, come up to your tippy toes. As you exhale, bend your knees, step or float all the way through, come down to your back. Take a full body stretch if you're coming with me. And then as you exhale, bend your knees so your feet are flat on the floor. Invisible orange under your chin, invisible pineapple between your thighs, since we're still in that great heat or major heat season. Or you can put an actual prop between your thighs to strengthen your abdomen. Either way, if you're coming with me, as you inhale, use the strength of your legs to lift your hips up. As you exhale, shrug your shoulders under your back. You can take chest expansion here. You can use your hands or a prop to support your low back. If you're coming into a full wheel pose, inhale your arms overhead. As you exhale, bend your elbows, fingertips under your shoulders, elbows squeeze in. Wheel poses as you inhale, come up to the crown of your head. As you exhale, get a nice firm grip. Inhale or exhale lifts you all the way up. If you supported your low back, feel free to lift your legs up for a suspended bridge or stretch your legs out for an extended bridge. Just take a moment to be here. Take a moment to breathe here. I mentioned before that some of the money was raised through auctions. One of those auctions featured a poem, The New Colossus by Emma Lazarus. I mentioned before that Emma Lazarus, when she was first asked to submit a poem for the auction, she didn't want to do it, but then she decided to take up the plight of the immigrants. She wrote the words that are now found on the pedestal. Keep ancient lands, your storied pomp, cries she with silent lips. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free, the wretched refuse of your teeming shore. Send these, the homeless, tempest-tossed to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door. Wheel poses, lower down to bridge with your arms overhead. Bridge poses, bend your knees, remove your support, reach your arms overhead. As you inhale, come to your tippy toes. As you exhale, slowly lower down one vertebrae at a time. Once your hips are on the mat, gently, mindfully windshield wiper your legs. And then if it's accessible to you, come into a supine bound angle pose, Supta Baddha Konasana, soles of your feet together like a prayer, knees open up like the pages of a book. If your hips are really tight, you can put props under your thighs. Another option is to stack up props so that when you lie down, your head's above your heart, heart above your belly, or above baby and belly, and you can still put the props under your thighs. If none of those options work for you, you can take a wide-legged child's pose here or come back into your butterfly, staying upright or folding forward as you like. The cornerstone, as I mentioned before, is the first stone set in the foundation of a building or structure. And all the other stones are set in reference to that cornerstone, thereby making it the very foundation of the foundation. And again, it determines the overall position of the structure. It's often placed with a certain amount of pomp and circumstance. It's usually inscribed with the date of its placement and often includes a time capsule, which includes some clues as to what was important to people who attended the ceremony. And that was the case of Lady Liberty's pedestal cornerstone, which is placed over a square hole dug for a copper time capsule. That time capsule contained a number of articles, including the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. Both documents considered the cornerstone of the United States and the ultimate law of the land. Although we don't always think of it this way, the outward-facing portion of this cornerstone is of the legal system of a commonwealth like the United States is a bar. As you inhale, bring your knees together. Prenatal variation, if you're on your back, is to roll your left to sit up. Everyone else, you have the option to rock and roll. You can move props out of the way and then bring your hands to your bottom. Slide your fingers up to the creases in your knees. And just like a child on a swing, rock up and back 5 or 6 times. Angle your body so you tap each corner of the mat at least once with both feet. And then after that 5th or 6th rock, come up to Dandasana stack pose. So you're sitting down with your legs stretched out in front of you. Press your hands down, hips down, heels down, all to lift your heart up. If there's compression in your low back and hips, or if you're slumping down here, put something under your hips, even if you just roll up the back of your mat. And then as you exhale, hug your right knee into your armpit, give it a little squeeze. Inhale, bring your right leg up and over your left. And then exhale, rotate the right knee down so the right knee points towards your left toes. For cow face legs, you can keep your left leg extended or bend your left knee so the left leg mirrors the right and the left heel comes over to the right hip. Either way, sit up nice and tall as you inhale. As you exhale, rotate your upper body to the right. Right hand behind your hips, left hand outside of your right thigh. Press down, lift up as you inhale, creating space between your ribs and your hips. As you exhale, twist and rinse, engaging your core. So that bar that I mentioned before, it could be a wooden railing, it might be a metal railing. However, historically, this bar separated those within the legal profession, specifically the judge and those who had business with the court, from everyone else. And in particular, everyone else referred to law students whose aspirations were to pass the bar, meaning they would be on the other side of the symbolic railing. As you inhale, come back to center. As you exhale, fold over your knees, or if you prefer, you can stay upright. Stretching your arms out, elbows extended, or bring your elbows down to the floor or prop. Find a little bit of a baby back bend here. This symbolic railing is also used to refer to professional organizations, memberships in which is sometimes required in order for an attorney to practice law in a particular jurisdiction. Let's skip state bars for a second and just focus on voluntary bar associations, which in the United States are private organizations which serve as social, educational, and lobbying organizations. Legal professionals can not only use these bar associations to network with other professionals and the general public, hence expanding their practice, they can also advocate for law reform. I place voluntary in quotes on the blog because I'm not sure how possible it is to practice law in the United States without being a member of a bar association, not to be confused with a state bar. I've had some people tell me it's not possible in some places. As you inhale, lift your heart up. As you exhale, hug your knees into your armpits, give them a little squeeze. And then inhale, stretch your legs out in front of you back into that Dandasana stack pose, and we'll balance out. As you exhale, hug your left knee in. Inhale, bring your left leg up and over your right. And then exhale, rotate your left knee down so the left knee points at your right toes. You can keep your right leg extended, or you can bend your right knee so the right heel comes over to your left hip. Either way, sit up nice and tall as you inhale. Exhale, rotate your upper body to the left. Left hand behind your hips. Right hand outside of your left thigh. Create space between your ribs and your hips as you inhale. Twist and rinse as you exhale. So even in places where it might be possible to practice without being a member of a bar association, it would still be quite challenging, maybe even impossible to successfully practice, especially back when there was only one major bar association in the United States, and especially back in the 1920s when your race and gender prevented you from joining said association. Such was the plight of my next impossible lady. As you inhale, come back to center. As you exhale, fold over your legs or stay upright if you prefer. Gertrude Rush Durden was born today in 1880 in Navasota, Texas. She not only became the first African-American woman to be admitted to the Iowa State Bar, for about 32 years, she was sometimes the only female attorney practicing in the state of Iowa. That was the case from 1918 until 1950. She placed a particular emphasis on women's legal rights in estate cases and had a passion for religion, extensively studying the 240 women whose stories were featured in the Bible. Many within the local court referred to her as the Sunday school lawyer. And one profile of her, which is printed in Notable Black American Women, Book 2, by the book is by Jesse Carney Smith. It says, a very worn Bible is almost as prominent as a well-thumbed Iowa code on the desk of Mrs. Gertrude E. Rush. As you inhale, lift your heart up. As you exhale, hug your knees into your armpits, give them a little squeeze. And you have options here. You can stretch your legs out in front of you in Dandasana Snack Pose, setting up for an intense Western stretch, or you could turn your body to the side, left or right, and then stretch your legs out as wide as they'll go for a wide-legged forward fold. Either way, sit up nice and tall as you inhale. As you exhale, flex and fold. Reach down and grab what's available. All your fingers to all your toes, or peace fingers to your big toes, or hold on to your ankles, arches, or shins. If your legs are wide, you can place your forearms on a prop. If your legs are together, you can use a strap to bridge the gap or a prop to extend the reach. Either way, maintaining your bind. As you inhale, look up and lengthen. As you exhale, zip up, engage your core, stay here. Or as you exhale, flex and fold. Mrs. Rush took over her husband's law practice in 1921, just a year after women's right to vote. The women's right to vote was ratified by the United States Congress. She was elected the president of the Colored Bar Association. How it was impossible for her to be admitted to the American Bar Association. She tried, as did several other African-American lawyers. They tried because the ABA had one black lawyer and therefore was considered integrated. Eventually, however, they stopped trying to join an organization that didn't want them, and they started their own organization. They got over that impossible goal. And Gertrude Rush became one of the founding members of the Negro Bar Association, which was incorporated on August 1st, 1925, with 120 members, which was 11 to 12% of the black lawyers in the United States at the time. As you inhale, lift your heart up. Exhale, hug your knees into your armpits, give a little squeeze. If you want to lean back on your hands or your forearms and windshield wipe your legs, feel free to do so. If you just want to hold, hang out in your stump pose, extending your spine, finding a little baby back bend, feel free to do that. And then everyone come up into your wide-legged stump, knees in your armpits. Prenatal variation is to stay like this. Everyone else, you can bring your knees together. Wrap your arms around your legs, no matter which variation you're in, and drop your forehead down to your knees. Take a deep breath in. Look up, open your mouth, sigh it out. Look down, take a deep breath in. Look up, open your mouth, sigh it out. Look down, take the deepest breath, take it all day. Look up, open your mouth, sigh it out. And then just let your breath naturally flow in and naturally come out. Eventually, the Negro Bar Association was renamed the National Bar Association, the NBA, which addressed, and I quote, issues such as professional ethics, legal education, and uniform state laws, as well as questions concerning the civil rights movement and transportation discrimination, residential segregation, and voting rights. The NBA supported civil rights groups by providing legal information, filing outside legal briefs, and blocking federal court nominees who opposed racial equality. As a bar association, however, the NBA did not directly participate in civil rights activities. Instead, NBA members like Gertrude Rush and the eventual Supreme Court Justice Thurgood Marshall became members of the NAACP. If you want to finish the practice in a pose other than Shavasana, do what you do. Everyone else, go ahead and lower down to your back. And then once you're on your back, as you inhale, stretch out one leg, doesn't matter which one. Exhale, let that leg relax. Inhale, stretch out the other leg. Exhale, let that leg relax. The National Bar Association also established free legal clinics in 12 states, thereby creating the foundational cornerstone for the poverty law and legal clinics of today. Take a moment to get rid of your physical fidgets so your body can be still. And then so your mind can be quiet. Fix your gaze on something that's not moving. You gaze at your third eye, the space between your eyebrows, about 1 inch of your forehead, 1/2 inch above there, or your heart center, or the tip of your nose. Take a moment to just let your breath flow in and let your breath ebb out. Bringing awareness, just as you did at the beginning of the practice, to your foundation, what's touching the floor, touching the mat, touching a prop, and how it supports you. Feel free to stay here as long as you'd like. If you'd like to be guided out of your relaxation pose, reawaken your body. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Deep open mouth sigh. Deep breath in through your nose. Deep sigh out. Gently rock your head side to side. Gently bring motion to your fingers and toes. Being mindful of the space around you, inhale your arms overhead and take a full body stretch. Reach through your fingers, reach through your toes. As you exhale, bend your knees so your feet are flat on the floor. Prenatal variation is to roll to the left, everyone else roll to the right. And just take a moment to be here. Take a moment to breathe here. Notice how you feel here. And then when you're ready, use the strength of your arms to press up to a comfortable seated position. Eyes closed if that's comfortable for you. Hands together at heart center. Take a moment to rub your palms together. Feel a heat, a little energy, a little awareness. Then bring one hand to your heart, one hand to your belly, and soak up that heat, that energy, that awareness. You can take your hands to any other part of your being, any other part of your body that needs a little extra heat or energy or awareness. You can bring your right hand to your heart, left hand to the top of your head, and then breathe into that connection. And then take a moment to shake out your arms and we'll seal in the practice. You can bring your hands back together at heart center or switch which hand is at your heart, which hand is at your belly. Gertrude Rush was also one of the organizers of the Charity League, which coordinated the hiring of a Black probation officer for the Des Moines Juvenile Court, created the Protection Home for Negro Girls, a shelter, and served on the boards of a host of other women's organizations. He also served as the delegate to the Women's Convention, WC, which was a political auxiliary to the National Baptist Convention. Evelyn Brooks Higginbotham wrote about her in Religion, Politics, and Gender, the leadership of Nanny Helen of Burroughs, which is chapter 8 of This Far by Faith, Readings in African American Women's Religious Biography that was edited by Judith Weisenfeld and Richard Newman. Evelyn Brooks Higginbotham wrote, in 1919, Mrs. Gertrude Rush, a prominent Black lawyer and WC delegate from a Baptist church in Des Moines, Iowa, posited that the vote would enable women to fight for better working conditions, higher wages, and greater opportunities in business. Through suffrage, Rush maintained women could better regulate moral and sanitary conditions, indiscrimination and lynch law, obtain better educational opportunities, and secure greater legal justice. Take a moment, just a moment, to consider how back in the 1800s, some of those goals seemed absolutely impossible. And yet, they were able to overcome the obstacles, make the impossible possible with single-minded focus. Take a moment to bring your awareness to the outward-facing portion of your cornerstone and to how it helps you overcome the impossible obstacles. As you inhale, lift your thumbs to your third eye, and as you exhale, bow forward. Namaste. Thank you all very much. If you have any questions or comments or concerns, please let me know. And that's the practice. Thank you so much for sharing your time and your practice. Please like, share, subscribe, and when you comment with kindness, please leave me a 7-word comment. And I'll see you next time.